Boom! What's up, everyone? Welcome to Simulation. I'm your host, Alan Sakian. Really excited to be sitting down with Paco Romane today. Going to be talking about comedy, and be talking about acting.
Acting, comedy.
Writing, producing. What's up, man?
Hi.
Thank you for coming on
the
show.
Thank you for letting me in. One thing you didn't mention is I've been sleeping outside this building. Which camera should, I'm going to just look at this one, the one that's not pointing at me.
He has been sleeping outside the building. When I first saw you sleeping outside, I was like, come in.
You were like, come on in. We have white chairs. Yeah, just sit in one of our white chairs and just relax. You know, have a laugh.
Conversation. Mm-hmm. Paco, when you moved out here in '97 to San Francisco.
Yeah, 1997. For those kids who are following along at home, mark that down. 97 is before your dad was born, probably. But.
For some of them, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah.
I have a joke in my act where I talk about checks. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
And I've had to stop using that joke
because they don't know what checks are anymore.
They have no idea what this.
These Gen Z kids with not knowing what checks are. It's very interesting. That is very interesting.
I know.
Paco, now this was a move from Michigan.
Yeah.
Kalamazoo,
Michigan.
Kalamazoo, Michigan.
You know the song "I Got a Gal" in Kalamazoo? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I got a gal in Kalamazoo. You know that song? Oh, okay, yeah. Before your time.
Before my time.
Before checks.
Before checks. So what was the thing that prompted you to come out here to pursue comedy? Like how did you know that?
Drugs.
Yeah.
Sex.
Yes.
Drugs, sex, rock and roll, comedy.
You just knew there was more of that here than in Michigan.
Than in Kalamazoo, yes, there was. Yeah, there was. Yeah, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, drugs were like tap water.
Yeah.
Sex was with any kind of cattle you could find. But yeah, so I came out for just basically to do comedy. Yeah, because I mean this was the epicenter. When I was growing up, the '80s, as a kid in the '80s, like the '80s. The 80s comics were from this city. They were. You
can go here too.
They were. Hi everybody. How are you? Hi. Get this. Look at this Goya Chaponum. Get it in there.
What does Goya Chaponum mean?
Non-Jew face. That's what I got. I got no right angles on this face of mine.
No right angles. No sharp edges.
No
on
sharp
this body.
edges. Give it a hug.
Teddy bear.
Get in tight.
Yeah.
But all my favorite comedians were from the SF scene, like Robin Williams, Dana Carvey, Jake Johansson, Ellen DeGeneres, Paula Poundstone, that group of people. So I moved here because I was like, this is where apparently if you drink the water, you become funny, you know? So that's why I came out.
Well, it takes a while to build up the comedic muscle.
It does.
Yeah.
It does take a while.
Were you doing some of that in Michigan?
No, none. And I still didn't do it for almost 10 years when I moved here.
Damn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did music.
You do music.
I was in a jazz band out here called Psychobabble, the worst name of any kind of anything.
Where do we know Psychobabble from?
From me playing at fucking all around San Francisco.
Yeah. Who were your partners in that?
Oh, well, the sax player was Kevin Washington. The drummer was Dave Tranquil. I played keyboard. We had an upright bass. But we would play at different breweries and stuff in town. Do you remember, I think it was called 13 Tank. Remember that brewery? I think it's closed. It was across the street from where the DNA Lounge is now.
Okay.
It was in that big building. We played there every night, basically, for their dinner stuff. But we played they didn't have a stage. We played on their walk-in cooler. So we would have to get all our shit up on their walk-in cooler that overlooked the restaurant.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it would vibrate because it was a cooler. So.
You were playing on a cooler.
Yeah.
Whoa. So you gained
jazz, baby.
You ain't gained that music edge. That's really important. Again, it's this muscle that you're training, different skills, and they come together. Music comes together with speaking, writing, acting.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Well, you're up there performing, but for me, I wasn't doing any of the talking stuff, which is really what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a comedian. When I was a kid, that was my life. I wanted to be an actor. Yeah, I knew. Yeah. I used to put on plays in 4th grade. I convinced my teachers to let me put on plays. I would write the plays. I would cast them. I would direct them. I would be in them. They were not good. I mean, they were, a little dark. So.
What was your writing? What did you write? What was dark about it?
Just about having parents that sucked And I mean, basically, I mean, not dark for us now, but the teachers were like, we're not sure. You know, I just made fun of teachers and parents and authority figures, basically.
That's great.
And I would come out and do my impression of the principal, like, "Brr, brr, brr, brr," you know. You know how they are. They don't like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I moved out here and I started working for record labels. I worked for Ubiquity Records and Ohm Records. I was like a producer and an AR guy in sales and stuff like that.
AR meaning?
It's like artist in residence.
Oh, artist in residence.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you go out. Part of my job was to go out to clubs and listen to DJs, and if I liked them, try to sign them and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then tour them around a couple of the maybe Bay Area slots that the record had.
Exactly. And like in the late 90s, the San Francisco Bay Area, I mean, this was the epicenter for like electronic music and DJ culture. I mean, this is where it was all going on. Exactly. What? Dropping some money? What? But like I wasn't doing any comedy, but my boss at Ohm Records, his brother, Jim Cornette, was the general manager of the Punchline. And I would always tell John Cornette, my boss, I want to do comedy and I don't know how to do it. So he would take me to the Punchline and we would get in because his brother ran it and we would go and watch stand-up. So that's how I kind of got into the groove, as it were.
And then you, as you're watching stand-up, you were like, I want to be up there. I want to give it a go. I want to practice.
Yeah, but it still took me a long time.
Where was your acting in the mix of this as well?
Oh, well, I mean, I used to make my own comedy videos. So even before I moved here, I owned a camera, like one of those like shoulder-held beta tape chunk kind of camera things. And I would make my own stupid comedy videos. So when I moved out here, I started a comedy production video company called Free Dirt Media. And we would make comedy videos. Oh, look at that little guy. Look at him doing his thing.
Yeah, your reel here on your website's really strong. Were a majority of these acting gigs, were they in like 2010 or like when did like these hit?
Yeah, from about 2007 till now. Basically, just various commercials I was in. This is like my commercial reel. Exactly.
So this is a compilation of like 10 years. So you're booked at maybe what, like 2 or 3 of these a year?
Exactly. I mean, there was a time when it was a little bit more, but these are not like industrials. I didn't include like industrials. These are all broadcasts.
This one's hilarious.
Yeah, dude. You're
like some white dude trying to play that.
with Harrison Barnes and Clay Thompson. This is one of the best days of my life, man. Like I'm a basketball player, which is why I booked this commercial, and to be able to be to spend all day with these guys was
amazing,
insane. Yeah.
It's an Adobe commercial.
Yeah, Adobe. Yep. Dunk your documents. What?
I
don't even know if they dunk their documents anymore. Who can keep up with this stuff with technology? You know, like I don't know. But sure, I started a company. Not a company. It wasn't really. It was just me and my buddies. It was a collective, and we would make underground, like guerrilla comedy videos. And in '97, '98, we had a website that had like, Java and Flash animation. We had this website with all of our stuff, but like people back home in Michigan couldn't watch anything because they had 56K dial-up connection. Yeah. And they're like, we can't get any of your videos to play. And so that's how all that started. Yeah.
So then, as you're doing a little bit of, did you take more time away from music to be able to focus more on acting and comedy?
Yeah, because I was in bands out here. I was playing in a band called the Boneless Children Foundation and Tartuffe for a little bit. I would sit in with these bands. And then I remember I just started getting into comedy. So I had a show at the El Rio called Late Night with God. It was a fake talk show with God as the host. And I played Stevie the Son of Satan, which was like this PA character, like it was like backstage of the talk show thing. And then I got involved with Killing My Lobster, which is like a San Francisco sketch comedy group.
Yeah, they're good.
Yep.
Yeah, and I started with them in 2003, working with them and writing sketches and performing sketches. And that's how that kind of started. The acting stuff started. So I definitely did acting and comedy before I did stand-up. And that's actually how I got into stand-up It's because I won Best Comedian in 2005
Nice.
by the Bay Guardian. The SF Bay Guardian voted me Best Comedian, but that was based on my acting, my Killing My Lobster stuff, and the stuff I was doing out in the public. But because I won that, people started coming to see me to do stand-up. They thought I was a stand-up comic. And so they would come and be like, how come you're not doing stand-up? You're the best comedian. And so that's why I started. So I started as the best. It quickly proved that I was not. Because nobody starts stand-up well.
Yeah.
No one's good.
Totally. It's like when you shoot your first free throw, you know?
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So now, walk me through what were you doing before? Because I want to ask you more about the nuance of acting and comedy.
Sure.
But now you have the Charm Offensive, which Ron has. You do this show now. What is it? Every 3-4 months.
Right.
And so you've done 10 of these over the last couple of years, and they happen at the San Francisco Punchline. The next one's on December 5th. So go check out the link in the bio.
Please do. Yeah.
Go hit that up.
San Francisco Punchline.
Join the community. It's, you got the Sup Doc podcast. You do that every 2 weeks.
Bi-weekly.
You're at over episode 100 now
Yeah.
on the Sup Doc podcast, and that's supdocpodcast.com. Again, links in the bio.
Got that right.
Yeah, check that out. This is where people can find you and listen to you and whatnot. But yeah, let's jump into what the fuck were you doing before this? Because how does one, you have to have some skills, because comedy and acting immediately don't put bread on the table.
No, it
cover your rent.
Doesn't. But before I was in graduate school for political science. I was going to the bar. I saw one of my professors. It was Friday night. I said, why don't you come have a drink with us? He's like, I'm going to the library to read periodicals. And I'm like, why would you do that? And he's like, that's what you do when you're a political scientist. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to be a political scientist if that's what I have to do, So I just moved out here, and I was like, I'm going to do what I need to do to follow my dreams, which is to be a comedian and actor. And it still took me 8 years. But ultimately what really helped, I have a kind of an interesting origin story, which is I was working at the Booksmith on Haight Street, which is a bookstore, obviously, and Robin Williams used to come in all the time, and he's my favorite. He is my hero. He is my icon. He is my deity. He's the reason I wanted to do comedy and acting. So he came in, I used to talk to him, and finally, I used to just kid with him, but I finally said, man, you are my idol. I want to do what you do. How do I become a comedian and an actor? And he said, just dive in. Just do it. Just fucking dive in. And then I went to Craigslist.
What were you paying your bills with out here?
I worked at the bookstore.
Yeah,
that was it.
I
also taught piano. I taught bass lessons, and I was a DJ as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would DJ.
Ron was too.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
I would DJ. I was DJ Mars, basically, was my name, Frank Mars. Anyways, but so then Robin was like, you should dive in. So I did, and I started going on Craigslist and looking for auditions. And I went to this audition, and I had no idea how to audition for anything. And the lady was like, the director, she was like, take a side, and we'll call you up. And I didn't realize sides meant scripts. Mm-hmm. I thought she meant go sit on the side. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did. I went and sat on the side of this room, and I sat there for 2 hours, because it was just go up whenever you were ready on stage to do the scene. And she was like, hey, it's over. Do you want to do this, or were you just here, because it was at a cafe, are you just here to hang out? And I was like, no, I just was waiting. And she's like, well, why don't you get on stage? So I get on stage, and I didn't know there was a script. So I improvised my entire scene. And when I got done, she was like, that's the bravest thing I've ever seen anyone do. She's like, you had no idea what this was about. And I was like, no, I still don't, actually, because I never saw the script. And then later on, I found out I got the lead in this play. And then I got fired from the bookstore for talking to Robin Williams, because the owner was like, the celebrity clientele are for me to talk to.
Whoa.
And not employees. So please. And then, I got in this play, and I found out it was all of the leading comedic actors in San Francisco were in this play. Diane Amos, who is the Pine Sol lady. Debbie Durst, who's the wife of Will Durst, and she's a famous improv comedian. Christopher Meehan of the Meehan Brothers, Dan Spencer, Jim Crenna, who was part of the committee, and part with Del Close, who did Second City and then basically invented improv games. He was in this play, and me. This is my first acting, basically.
That's so cool.
And
what year was this?
2005.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got in, and it was awesome. And then on opening night, my character, I did 2 characters. My lead character, the mayor, it was called Trailer Town. He talked with a lisp. Yeah, the literal lisp. Yeah. But part of my gig was I was supposed to go into the audience and we traded junk with each other. I facilitated this junk swap meet thing. So I was going around and I looked, and up over on these risers over here was Robin Williams.
Whoa.
And I saw him and I was like, oh, fuck, it's Robin Williams. And I went up to him, I'm like, wait, aren't you my brother? Like, that's all and he looked at me, he's like, oh my God, yes. And he did my lateral lisp back to me.
Yeah.
And then he got on stage.
Oh my God.
I brought him up, he got on stage.
Story.
He started improvising with the audience, and I like just stepped back because I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then he went into the audience, and the manager brought the house lights up because he was in the audience, and about 10 rows in, which was in the dark, was my fucking boss who fired me for talking to Robin Williams.
Whoa, what a story. Yeah.
And I was like, fuck you, look who gets to talk to Robin Williams now.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? And that's when I was like, all right, this must be what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So I never really looked back. And then I won Best Comedian because of basically that play.
Whoa, what a cool story. Yeah. That's a great intro story into the light here. And so then now, you know, how did you transition away from, have you fully transitioned away to full-time acting and comedy to be able to pay for things with that? Fuck yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing that about when artists.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, about 4 years ago is really when I still do occasional, like I walk a dog or something, you know what I mean? You know, like WAG or Rover.com. I don't even do that anymore because I got so anxious because of not the dogs, the owners. Jesus Christ, the owners are just, it's not even like that
this is the right dog bag to use, this is the right meat treat to use,
Oh.
do it at 2:15 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. And then like, which hot dogs are you using? I'm like, this fucking dog doesn't care what hot dog they're eating, if it's organic or not. I mean, come on. But the other side of that would be like, we'll be there at 2, 5 p.m. rolls around, 6 texting, like, your dog, like, don't you want your dog? Yeah. You know, like, where are you?
Where are you? Don't you want your dog back? It's like, no, I took longer at the park.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I do a lot of voiceover as well. And voiceover has really helped.
That's cool.
You know, it pays, you know, fairly well. So I do a lot of voiceover.
This isn't voiceover, but this one was just really funny. I really enjoyed the. Let me see if I can get it. It's your. It's on the house commercial.
Oh, the open door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be on the front page.
I know. Oh, it's probably over here, huh? Yeah, maybe.
Scroll down. Scroll down on the front page. Oh, no. Go to the home page.
Yep.
Yeah, and scroll down. Is it not on there? Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, no, it was there yesterday, which is really weird.
How is it not there?
What was it called? The
Open door.
Open door.
Wait, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. I want to see if I can find it. It's this one, right? No? Isn't it this one?
No.
No, it's not that.
You'd have to go to their YouTube page. That's weird. Why isn't it on there? Unless you need to refresh. Have you had that open this entire time? I don't know.
Oh, there it is. It's this one. Got it.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
This is funny. This is you right here. I love this. This is totally this is like who you are.
Yeah.
I like this.
Well, I've worked with this director a lot.
There
before.
it is. I want to go back and slow that shit down. This is so funny. Right here. It's okay. We're a quarter speed now. Right here. This is you. Yeah.
Yeah, this director, I've worked with this production company a lot, and they don't even audition me. They just tell me that they're like, can you do it? And I say yes, and then they just let me do whatever I want, which was this.
Yeah, just let me do whatever.
And I told him, I'm like, it's funnier if I take a flyer and
exactly.
not look.
And not look.
I don't care about the
Yeah. It's almost like, you are kind of walking in there for, to be in awe or to eat cookies.
Yeah.
I saw that one person that was munching on cookies. Now, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you that you're doing this full time. And the stories of you getting here are it's really interesting how people end up getting to the point that they're at in their careers. So now teach us about break this down for us, for people that know absolutely nothing about how to get rolling with this. You said that you had that time when she was like, pick a side, right, and you were supposed to read the script, and you didn't, but it ended up leading you into this awesome.
Yeah. If I had known what she meant, I probably wouldn't have gotten it because she enjoyed the fact that I took that chance and improvised.
Fearless improvisation.
Yeah.
So what does it look like to do a gig like this? What are all the nuances?
Like this?
Yeah,
this one?
Well, talk about the open door one.
Well, this, okay.
Or the Warriors one, or the Adobe one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Well, you have to show. I mean, they contact me, especially it's the same people that did Adobe that did this. So
interesting.
Production company.
Oh, so production companies hired to do the commercials for the companies.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
And then I saw some of the behind the scenes. I believe they had, what is it, like 1 or 2 camera guys on site.
Yeah.
And then besides that, is there a director producer as well? So how many people are on
There's
set?
usually about 15 people on site.
15 people?
Yeah. And
for a
couple. Oh, yeah.
Damn, Ron, that's budget, huh?
They got budget. They got budget, baby. It's that open door money. It's that open door.
It's that open door.
It's that Adobe Creative Suite money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's clients. There's the people who if they worked with an ad agency, there's people who wrote it. There's the director. There's the cinematographer. There's AD, the assistant director. There's sound people.
Damn.
This place had art people. They had guys that would come and rearrange these pillows as art. They're the art department. Yeah, and then then there's the PA people, the catering people. Yeah. I mean, it's like,
whoa.
I've worked on ones that had like 100 in the crew, and this, these are a little smaller. But
and it's a full day.
Yeah, it is until you never know when you're going to get wrapped. I mean, if you're non-union, it can be 10 hours, 12 hours. They can keep you forever. If you're SAG, then there's rules involved. And if you're there after 8 hours, you get paid more money.
Overtime, yeah.
Right, which why I'm SAG, so I like to go hide a little bit so they can't find me, so I can just keep padding the time. Where the fuck's Paco? Bring Paco to the set.
Whenever I'd work on hourly jobs that had like tasks, I'd go. Sometimes I would hide in the bathroom, and
the bathrooms are the best.
Bathrooms are the best place to hide for periods of time.
I got this job as a temp because when I first started, I did a lot of temp jobs. I'm the only person I think has ever been fired from a temp agency as well. I've been fired from every job. I got fired from the bookstore. I got fired from my first job. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do this and see if I could do it. I got tired of being fired, basically. It takes a big chunk of your ego out. But I had a temp job where I worked for Condé Nast Publications. They make all those magazines. And I got lost in the system. I was only supposed to be there for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks was up, they never said, like, you can go. No one ever relieved me of my duty or whatever. So I just stayed. And I called my temp agency. They're like, just stay. Like, if they haven't said they don't want. So I had nothing to do. I was only there for 2 weeks to do this certain thing. And then I was there for 4 months.
What were you doing in the 3rd, 4th, 5th week? What were you doing?
I made friends with everybody. I would help Linda in accounting put up some bookshelves.
Yeah.
I ended up acquiring an office. There was an empty office. Yeah. So I just went to the supply closet and filled it with stuff I wanted, like a computer and a printer. Whoa. It had a lock on the door and it had shades, so I would just take naps in it.
Oh my gosh.
I would, by the 4th month, I would show up at 10 a.m. just to have them see my face. Yeah. I would leave and come back at 4 and just be like, okay, I'm leaving for the day, everybody.
Whoa.
Like, I was getting like $18 an hour.
Whoa.
And I felt my guilt ended up getting to me. I couldn't take it anymore. So I ended up quitting. Yeah. And
But you were still helping make bookshelves and stuff.
I was. I'm professionally fun. I mean, that is really my thing.
Professional fun.
Yeah, I'm professionally fun. So everyone in the office loved me, and I just would like have. I mean, there's times when like, you know, they were having goodbye parties for people, and it was so sweet, and I, you know, a lot of crying because, you know, Deborah was going off to somewhere else, and you know, I really got to know everybody.
So keep breaking this down. So like so for someone that maybe is doing like they have to go and get their own gig, so it's not like you're getting inbound stuff, right?
Yeah.
So how does one get, you were doing Craigslist,
right?
You know?
So there are ways to go about, especially now, it's much easier now. So Craigslist is a great source. So is sfcasting.com. For people who don't have an agent, I'm talking to you, Bill, Lucy, I see you, how are you? Looking good. If you don't have an agent, go to sfcasting.com. Tell them I sent you. You can't because it's a website.
And LA and New York have these similar
LAcasting.com, NYcasting.com. It's all over the country.
Okay.
The guy who started it, Bo Bonneau, real name, his name's Bo Bonneau.
Bo Bonneau.
Bo Bonneau. There was Bonneau Casting here in town on First and Market for years. He started this thing because it was like just, if you didn't have an agent, you were sunk. So he started sfcasting.com. So I think it's $50 or something. You can put up your headshots. You can fill out a resume, what you do as far as skills, and then a lot of audition notices go through sfcasting.com. So you don't need an agent.
And you don't get paid necessarily unless you get the gig.
You have to book it.
You have to book it.
Not
so
only
you
that,
show up to audition a lot. And then,
So SF Casting sends you to a casting place. So sfcasting.com, you submit, then you'll get an email back saying, yes, the casting director would like to see you. Then you go to the casting directors, you go to the audition, and then you book it. If you book it and you get to the set and you do the job, then you get paid. There's times when you can book it and they don't do it because of some weird reason.
And have you decided to take your clothes off before?
What are we talking about? In what aspect are we?
the good old SF casting couch.
Why do you always have to take the conversation?
Why does it always go down?
Why does it always go to
Where does this
nakedness?
come from? You pull this out of your ass.
Yeah, it's always naked with this
It's always
guy.
naked with them.
Yeah.
Well, that's a serious thing, though. Some people actually get paid money to take clothes off.
Some people do. This is not the body that gets paid to take its clothes off. All right, I'm shaped like a thumb. This is not like.
Well, you had a didn't you have one where you were
naked?
Not naked. No, it was like but shirt off. No, it wasn't one.
No, that's not me. No, but I did in Killing My Lobster shows. There was usually a lot of nudity. Not a lot.
See, that's fun.
But that's theater.
That's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm hairy like a monkey. You know.
You are hairy like
hairy
a monkey.
like
You
a
look.
monkey.
It's like a very.
Yeah.
Your whole ensemble is very interesting to you. Look like a very hairy grandma's couch. But the shirt has got like a grandma's couch feel to it. You know what is
a hairy grandma's couch? I'll take that one. I like that one. Yeah.
It's like she sheared her dog on her own couch.
Paco, did you work with Kaylee Quick on Killing My Lobster? Do you know
She's
her?
after my time.
She's after your time.
Yeah.
She's cool. We should have her on the show.
We should.
Yeah. Shout out to Kaylee.
I've never met her. I know of the name, but I stopped. 2014 was my last year at KML.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to get engaged, but she cheated on me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What a horrible, horrible person you are.
Wait. Whoa. Wait.
Mimi.
How many?
You can hear me, Mimi.
Yeah. Wait. How long were you with Mimi for?
The first time or the second time in my life?
Oh, so there were two. They were separated.
We
by
were
break.
engaged in college.
Damn.
To be married, and I moved here. She wanted to stay in Michigan. I wanted to move here.
Yeah.
And then I met up with her again after 14 years of not ever talking to her.
Oh, whoa.
Back in Michigan, and we got engaged again.
In San Francisco.
I was in San Francisco. She was still in Michigan. Yeah.
Oh no.
We did long distance for 4 years.
Oh, and she moved out here?
No, never. I was moving there.
Oh, you were moving back.
Yeah. So I had the longest running comedy show in San Francisco called the Romane Event, which was my show at the Makeout Room. I did it for 12 years.
Damn.
Yeah, every month for 12 years.
Every month for 12 years.
I stopped doing that.
Holy cow.
Because I was like, I'm moving back. And then with Killing My Lobster, I was like, I'm out, peace. And then she was like, and then I'm like, what? This is weird. And then I she once used my laptop, but she used Safari, not Chrome, to go on Facebook. And for this time, for some reason, I went on Safari to go down my, and then I was like, why do I have so many messages? But it was her profile. She never logged out. And then I was like, who is Antonio? And I was like, oh shit, this isn't for me. This is for my fiance. Okay.
There was some sexy talk going on.
Yeah, lots of sexy talk. He's a pretty handsome guy. So.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Yeah, she cheated on me with a salsa instructor. You can't even write that. That is some derivative bullshit. Like, that's just out of a Harlequin romance, right?
Really.
I mean, it's just stupid.
Salsa instructors, they steal your girl.
They do. Olay, they certainly do. Yeah, they just impregnate women with their hips. You know, that's their whole fucking superhero thing. Like,
Wow.
yeah, golf pros and salsa instructors are put on this earth to fuck your girlfriends, and that's pretty much what happened to me.
Well, it wasn't meant, it wasn't meant.
No, it wasn't meant. Twice in one life.
Twice in
Same
one life.
girl.
That's right. Twice in one life. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you're
Gay. No.
I'm gay. I knew it. We'll
we should
take care of that
exchange
after the show. Yeah.
I don't know if.
Well, you're only gay if you love the guy.
Only gay if you love the guy. That's great. That's great. Okay, so this is an interesting breakdown of how to like get started in acting.
Yeah.
And so now on the comedy side, how does one? Well, I guess keep me on acting just for a moment and give me the what is the whole deal with are you you're like talking about fun, right? It's really important to have fun in life.
Yeah.
And so when you act,
Amen.
Are you taking on a persona? Are you just your persona? How does
Well, it all depends on what the script calls for, but a lot of it I just put myself into.
You just put yourself into the role in the script.
Yeah, and it's always it depends on the role, but for me it's like you up the ante of the energy, you come up on the energy, and you just have to be as present as possible, which is why anyone who wants to do acting or stand-up should take improv classes.
Yes.
Because that is the gateway to all of that stuff.
Exactly.
Being present with somebody, riffing, listening, understanding where it's going, understanding the emotional intent of the lines, that kind of stuff,
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, a lot of people ask me, because a lot of people want to do voiceover. And I've been doing it now I'm the voice of Pandora. I don't know if you knew that, Pandora Radio. I've done maybe over 1,000 ads for
on Pandora.
Yeah.
And how? And so, for example, if you take give us an ad that you would do for Pandora.
Well, even now, if you choose a channel like hip hop or comedy, and you don't have the ratings things turned on, you'll hear the channel you've selected may not be suitable for all listeners. Please select. That's my voice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The channel you have chosen may not be suitable for all listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. So I met those guys who started Pandora at a party, and I told them I wanted to do voiceover, and they're like, "We need ads because we're starting this Pandora radio station."
And this was in
2008.
Oh wait, yep, that makes sense. And then, they're now publicly traded.
Yeah,
and yada,
I should
yada.
have asked for. I just got $150 for. That's what we agreed on that night.
Yeah, but they were in their nascent stages too.
Yeah,
so
I didn't think the web was going to catch on. Who would have known? Who would have known?
Yeah, because we don't know if which one of the VR, ARs, XRs, blockchains, all the cryptocurrencies. Yeah, what's RR?
Pirate, I guess. Pirate laughing.
Pirate,
That's
yeah,
horrible.
yeah.
I should have been a dad. But if you want to, a lot of people ask me about voiceover. That's so dumb. And they always, how do I get it? I'm always like, you got to be a good actor. A lot of people think, they're like, oh, my sister says my voice is cool, which for one, is not sexy. Or they'll be like, people think I have a cool voice, and it has nothing to do with your voice. It's how good are you at acting? Because it's all you're only using your mouth when you do voiceover. You can't use your eyebrows, you can't use your hands.
Well, you can get into the role with your gesticulation and whatnot.
Yeah.
I like how you mentioned it's upping the energy. Even when I took your ad role, this content may not be suitable for all audiences.
Right.
Even when you do something like that, you shift your persona into that, and you up your energy into that.
I call it leaning forward.
Oh yeah, that's good. Lean forward.
Lean forward. Yeah. So when I direct voiceover for people, a lot of times you got to say, lean back, you're too energetic.
Oh yeah.
Or lean forward, I need more energy, I need more presence, but that's the same thing in acting too. A lot of it does depend on the character. If your character's not energetic, but those are the roles I usually book. are like the funny guy in the office. I'm
Yeah.
always a guy named Frank for
Yeah,
some
in
reason.
The Office.
In the
Yeah,
office,
yeah.
yeah. And I like those
Frank
characters.
that was doing the that clicked on the virus email.
Yeah. That guy. I'm always that guy. But which is awesome for me because usually it's the comic relief character, and there's usually not as many lines as the other people.
Yeah.
So I'm good, and you get paid the same.
Yeah,
So.
Yep. So interesting. So now the whole thing with the lean forward, being present, lean back a bit. The whole thing with with acting, there is a little bit more of body movement. You said improv is a good way to get yourself started. We love the Dr. Seuss quote of "I like nonsense that wakes up the brain cells," right? So you can do a little shop boop bop ba deep bop bop whatever. You can start messing around a bit, and if you mess around a little bit in this culture that we live in, where there's almost zero people messing around.
Yeah.
A lot. It's just
Nobody messes around. I know. It's smart and silly. That is what I call my comedy.
Yeah.
I like to do smart things silly, and I like to do silly things smart. But you have to have fun. You have to have fun. You gotta stretch that muscle, man.
Yeah.
Like that fun muscle can atrophy.
Yeah.
And have you ever met somebody that used to be fun, and you're like, what happened? He's like, well, I got kids, I got a mortgage, I got a car. I was like, well, then you should be stretching your fun muscle because that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And why don't you have some fun? Relax, chill out, have some fun. Don't take things too seriously. I mean, fuck, this is not a dress rehearsal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm not too religious, but
Yeah,
I don't think I'm coming back. And if I am, I would rather be a squirrel, I think. I'd like to be a squirrel. So I like to eat nuts. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean, that's that.
But
Apparently that's how they forget that they bury 75% of their nuts, and then that's how
Is that right?
That's how a lot of trees are planted.
no way.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Squirrels forget where they bury 75%.
30 3/4, yeah, 3/4 they forget,
wow.
yeah.
Those little fuckers.
That's why they bury hella. They bury a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Nuts, seeds, acorns, etc.
And that's what makes. Oh, so the forgotten
The
nuts.
forgotten, yep.
Whoa,
Yeah.
there's something there.
There's something there
There
for
is
sure.
something there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We thought that was a pretty interesting part
When
of
you say
evolution.
we-
Well, this is how I learn shit,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was learning about this with my friend, our friend Julia, that's been on the
Oh,
show, who's a forest bather, as well as Brittany, who's also been on the show. They're very deep into nature and ecology, and so we were just talking about stuff like
Yeah.
that and looking it up and learning. So you want to rebirth as a squirrel?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, play around with dolphins, eagles, octopuses. There's all
Yeah.
different types of stuff to rebirth.
But you
as.
should I don't know. I feel like I've always felt, even when I was a kid, because my parents seemed too serious to me, and I just always thought I never believed in God when I was a kid either. My parents are very religious, and I was just like.
Do you have siblings?
Oh yeah, I have a big family. I'm the youngest of 6.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's right. The number is big.
Yeah. And then I have 5 stepbrothers.
Do you ever think about how often they had sex?
My brothers and sisters?
No, your parents.
Oh, no. I try not to. I try not to think of them in the word sex at all.
Your mom was pregnant for 6 years.
For a long
That's
time.
A lot of time to be
That's
holding
a lot of
baby
it
inside
is.
of her.
Yeah. But
Are you guys all 6 years or 8, 10 years, or is it 20 years apart from each other?
oh no, a year and a half type.
From each.
Yeah, a couple years between each kid.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only a couple years, and I love my brothers and sisters. They're awesome people.
Oh, good.
And
That's great.
The reason why I'm a comedian, I'm sure, because when you're
Yeah,
the youngest
they gave
one,
you material.
They gave you material, yeah, and then you're always trying to make everyone feel better.
Oh, you're the youngest one.
Yeah, I'm
nice.
the youngest. So I think the youngest always grow up to be comedians. Comedians are usually the youngest kid, and then lawyers and accountants are usually the oldest kid. The middle ones are drug addicts and homeless people.
That's right, Ron.
See you, middle kid. I could have told.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
And a drug addict.
Yeah. I see you have a sign that says "Will direct for food."
Oh gosh, that's so good. Okay, so So when
There you
this is really interesting that you're talking about having fun. You're talking about the importance of being silly, and we care about that a lot as well. And we try and help civilization get a little bit of that silliness in them. Give us a couple of your go-tos. You were talking about taking an improv class. That's a good one. That should be paired. I'm gonna start pairing that now, because I talk a lot about how in Silicon Valley a lot of the engineers or designers or ops people that move here, I'm like, I would want to. I bet, this is a hypothesis, I bet 1/3 of people that have lived here for a year have not been to the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, I would.
Thanks, Ronnie. Yeah. And so,
What just happened? Was that me?
was that me?
Had a burrito
Did that come
earlier.
out of right
Well,
here? Yeah.
just
Prepare to die.
Prepare to die. So that's a hypothesis. And then
Yeah.
to add to that would be, I think that once people move to San Francisco, like these engineers and designers, ops people, et cetera, I think it would be great for them to sign up for an improv class,
they should.
as well as get
Yeah.
out to Muir Woods or the Pacific Ocean
Yeah,
and stuff like
I
that.
have taught improv. I've done corporate stuff where I've taught improv to like CEOs and stuff, and like just public speaking and having fun and learning improv games. And it's always the same thing. 9 a.m. you can't get anybody to stand up. You can't get anyone to participate.
Yeah.
Everyone's shy. By 5 p.m. you can't fucking get them to shut up.
Shut up,
It's
yeah.
just like, I gotta go. Like you guys make a lot of money. I don't. I gotta get back in my my 1992 Toyota Camry and get the hell out of here,
Yeah.
And they're just like, more, and you're like, no, like, okay, now you
Hire me
understand.
again.
Yeah, hire
Yeah.
me again. But
That's great. That's the type of stuff I'm talking. The same
Yeah.
exact thing happened when we were teaching science communication and improv at NASA Ames down here, and it was the same thing. That right away,
Yeah.
it's so tough getting people to
Yeah.
stand up and do the activities that you
Yeah.
want them to do.
Yeah.
But then by the end, they're talking
Yeah.
about what was exciting and
yeah.
how they can apply the techniques to their lives.
But then with NASA, they're like, should we put on the booster rockets? And someone yes-ands that, and like, and then send them back into orbit. Yeah, and then what we ought to do is, then the rocket's just spinning in space.
It doesn't go anywhere.
And someone's like, who fucking hired the improv
Improv
actor?
guy, yeah.
God damn it, you've ruined
Yeah.
NASA forever.
Yeah.
There's that.
So now, what else would be a good technique for people to become a little more playful or fun or silly?
Hand jobs. I think learning like how to give a good hand job, I think, is mostly that, and just getting into it, trying it, getting out there and trying it. Take classes, and don't be too shy to start. Don't be too afraid. Fear is the worst.
Fear is
right?
the worst.
Fear is the worst.
Exactly. Everything you want in life is on the opposite side of fear.
Amen. Amen. And also, oh, that was a good one.
Let's do that again.
Yeah. Woo, ear splitting. Did you
Damn.
guys hear that? The
That was-
studio audience.
The
look at
studio
them.
audience.
They're
Look at them
holding-
applauding.
yeah.
Holy cow. There's so
guys.
many people out
Love
here
you.
today.
Love you.
Look at all the beautiful people.
Oh,
It's like-
look, the cheap seats up
The
there.
cheap
Hey, how are you? But also, like, I was talking to my friend on Thanksgiving, and she said, the biggest regrets in my life are from what I didn't do, and not from what I did. And man, that is so true, right?
Exactly.
I mean, like, one go around, like, have fun, do what you need to do. Like, for me, it was, and it took me a long time to finally start doing comedy and acting, but when I did, I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. And I wish now, I had a lot of fear of doing it when I was younger, in my 20s, and that's my biggest regret, is I didn't start earlier, but,
Yeah. Yep. Now that is, I'm really happy that we're landing here towards the end, because there's something so profound about conquering fear, about getting to the other side of it, because it also is what makes you grow the most in your life, is when you can conquer that and get to the other side.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy that we're here talking about that. And there's so many opportunities for us to be on the other side of fear, and we don't seize them because we can get seized up, and it doesn't, and we don't get that out. We don't
Right.
get it.
Future freaking, man. Future freaking. People future freak.
Future freak.
Yeah.
Teach us about that.
Well, everyone thinks of worst case scenarios. They imagine in this language of anxiety that they have in their head about what might happen, that they come up and conjure these images and these situations that haven't even happened yet and it keeps them from trying anything because they're like, oh, well, if I try stand-up, I'm gonna get laughed at. People are gonna boo me. People aren't gonna think I'm funny. I'm gonna look like an asshole. I'm gonna be embarrassed, you know, and it's like.
The same thing happened when you made your first song on a guitar, or when you first tried shooting a basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then also, when you try to shoot a basketball, did anyone laugh? Did anyone hurt you? Did you cry? No, it was fine. It's the same thing. It's like, don't future freak. Stay in the now. Yeah. You stay present. You know, don't think about the past. Don't think about the future. Just have your eye on the prize and complete the program that you've set for yourself.
And then another interesting way to maybe think about it is that if you think about it as there's all these different states that you can manifest, the more that you like future freak, the more that you're gonna manifest your self-anxiety and problems.
Yeah.
But the more that you think about like a future authoring, like you're trying to author a really beautiful future for yourself, like I know that I'm going to suck the first couple of times, but that I know that after I continue practicing the guitar, or basketball, or comedy, or acting, or whatever it may be, that I'm gonna get much better. I mean, we have interviews on this show where I'm still not good, you know, that I'm still like, wow, I have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And you most certainly do.
Yeah, you do. You do too, Mr. Technical Director.
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
What a lovely relationship you guys have. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Yeah. So that's so cool that if we set our aim on achieving our goal past our fear, that
small attainable goals, man. Small not big chunks. People start off and they're like, why am I not Carlin? Why am I not Bill Burr? And it's like, well, because they've been doing it for 30 years. Decades and thousands and thousands of hours. 10,000 hours is true
it's very
for all
real.
those endeavors.
It's very real.
You know?
And there's hacks to that though. There's real good hacks.
Sure.
Like when you come back, if you watch the best versus if you watch like amateurs, you know, there's hacks. Like you can watch the best and gain more knowledge in shorter amounts of time, and that can get you.
I agree. I mean, I feel like that's why there's 10 to 20,000 stand-up comedians now in this country, because you have kids that were growing up that got to watch stand-up on YouTube and Comedy Central over and over and over again, and you learn the tricks, you learn what professionals do, you know.
Do you think it's that the number's that small? Isn't that a small number?
Oh, I know. I think it's more than I was exaggerating. I think
it might be closer to like 50K, no?
No, I think it's less.
You think it's less?
I think so.
You think there's 1,000 comics in the Bay Area?
No.
You think there's 500?
No. Well, I don't know.
So
I
like
don't
New
think there's
York
that
or
many.
like LA has maybe a couple thousand comics, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's not a big community.
Paco, are there any comics that you personally don't find funny, or is that an awkward question?
Now, do I have to answer his question?
Please answer his questions.
Do I have to actually
engage
with him? I don't know how this is supposed to work.
Yeah.
I'll be in my trailer. All right, let's clean this up.
The trailer.
Yeah.
Get that powder my. You know.
No, but I'm thinking that, you know, comics. It's a really tight community, so they may not be. You may not want to answer a question like that.
And it was which comics I don't like?
Yeah, it's like, are there comics that you feel are overrated or
shit talking hour
that you don't find funny? You know, prominent comics.
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah, most of them. Most comics are overrated, I think. Yeah. I don't know. Of course I do. I'm not going to say it because that's just death in this community.
Yeah.
In the comedy community.
I know.
Okay. Well, no, that was great, and I actually want to push a little more on that. What do you think about political correctness?
Whoa, jeez, way to open up that box. What do I think about? I mean, it's like anything. Too much of it's bad. Not enough of it's bad. I mean, it's moderation is the key to success and that stuff. So, like, I think it also comes down to intent with me. Like, I don't like, I'm not one of those people who goes on stage and like pushes the envelope. It's like, if you can't handle my comedy, fucking suck it. You know, like that's not me. I'm I want everyone to have a good time. I'm one of those kind of comedians.
Sure.
But PC stuff, without it, then we just have chaos. With too much of it, you don't have any creativity.
Yeah, there's too much policing. Do you feel like we're edging too much towards policing right now?
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
And
which is going to push the pendulum the other way. That's what happens.
That's what
too
happens,
much policing is going to create more
chaos.
And people who are like, well, now I'm just going to say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
Right. Without, it means it dumbs it down, it waters it down. When comedians are saying things for effect and not because they have a message, then it just waters down. The pool of it. But
and so many of the messages can be educational and
of course. But too much, like, colleges don't want to hire comedians because, like, if you have a joke about whales, people are like, oh, but I love whales, and like, well,
or they might think you're talking about someone that is larger set.
Exactly.
If you say anything at a college related to conservative values right now is blowing up. I guess if you're in Iowa or Nebraska or Kansas, it's less likely.
I do a lot of Southern comedy clubs. Like I do the South a lot, and I find that they're just open to a lot more. Living in the Bay Area, I think can really hamstring you and handcuff you. That's not supposed to be sexy. I saw that look.
That's right, though.
But it can handcuff you to your material.
Yeah.
And then you go somewhere else and you're like, oh, God, it's so refreshing. I can talk about stuff. You know? I think for me,
you can't go to the South and talk about rainbows and butt sex and, it's just these things don't fly as much in the South.
You can. I think it's just the opposite, to be honest.
Okay,
out here is you can't talk about...
Oh, interesting.
A lot of stuff that you can talk about in the South, in the Midwest.
You can poke fun at people that are potentially exploring their selves because they can handle it more there, that it's a joke, and here people can't handle it like it's a joke.
Right, exactly. There's too many filters here.
Oh,
people,
yeah,
they're like, I'm not going to laugh about that, and I'm not going to laugh about that, and I'm not going to. Those are those are the sacred cows, you know. And it's
interesting.
Yeah, there's too many filters here, and in LA and in New York. But you go anywhere else, and those filters, people are just like, I came to a comedy club to laugh. And, I mean, if you're punching down too much, then that's not good.
What does that mean?
Punching down means making fun of people that are less than.
Oh,
like if you get on stage like fuck homeless people and like people without money and like what? That's not that funny. You should always be punching up. However, with that being said, I always talk about intent. It's like, what is the intent behind the person's message? What are they trying? Are they trying to be evil and an asshole? If not, then maybe understand that it's a joke. And try to understand. My other point is that Americans don't get satire, man. Satire is lost on Americans. So if you're up there and it's a satirical take on something that most people understand, but you're taking a different point of view, a satirical point of view, people are going to be like, "But what you're saying doesn't make sense and it's hurtful." And it's like, it's satire.
Give us an example.
Well, let's see. Okay, we had a sketch in Killing My Lobster we used to do called Father Issues, and this one always would make people get up and walk out. But we were basically saying that it was about pedophilia, which is, so we were saying it's horrible. But the way we did it was like we had 3 priests. We had 2 priests that were in charge and a young priest that they would call to task, and they would say, they'd be like, listen, we know that what you've been doing is horrible. You can't keep doing this. And the other priest would be like, yeah, it's tradition, And basically they're yelling at this young priest, and we find out that the young priest hasn't been molesting children, so they're pissed at him. And they're like, it's tradition. You've got, and the other priest is like, but it's sick. I don't want to touch little kids. Yeah. That would anger audience members, and they'd be like, you're promoting. It's like, no, it's satire. Yeah. We're not. It's against. It's just envelope.
So interesting. This reminds me so much of the conversation that we have about nuance on the show. And the more that you fall into these binary perspectives on issues, like, no, it's never okay to say anything about that, the less you're actually able to see the real scenario, which is what you were illustrating.
Right.
There's real scenarios going on around the world where they're actually having that type of a discussion. And you're trying to bring that forward to the light so people can be like, oh, that's how these scenarios play out. Right. And that's how to prevent them from playing out. That's how to evolve as a society past that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's taking that same message, and instead of saying, I don't like this message, the
Yes.
direct route. Satire takes the indirect route by
Yes.
saying, oh, but like there's people who do like this and now we're going to make fun of them.
Yes.
So it sounds like you're promoting it, but if you listen to the words
Yeah.
and the message and the intent, it's not that. And Americans are horrible at picking up on satire.
Interesting.
And like British are Monty Python, like it's
Yeah.
all satire,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But it's so you have to be careful. I mean, you have, in my set, I have a bar set, I have a club set.
If I say I like the crap that's on San Francisco's Market Street,
Yes.
you know that I don't like seeing feces all over the streets.
Right. Yeah, you're being sarcastic. If you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I really enjoy all this fucking human shit. Like
Yeah.
you're being sarcastic. Yeah, and that's a style of satire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard. Like people are so new. Like there's so many filters.
They're attached to binary thinking. It makes it easy. It's cognitively easing, and it's also tribal in many ways.
Yeah.
That when I'm sitting there with people, you'll literally see them when you crack a joke. They'll look at each other to comics riff on that all the time.
Yes, the elbow. thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you made a joke on your set about men and their partners, like boyfriends, about the way boyfriends are. How many of your boyfriends are funny?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you see how many of the girls react,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
point point fun at.
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. I mean,
That's audience player.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
riffing with the
we have the
audience.
culture of outrage now in this country where like everyone wants to be outraged about something. Yeah, it's the same thing with the headlines on Facebook. Nobody really wants to open up that article and read it. They just want to read the headline and they're outraged by it.
Yeah,
And
it's clickbait.
Same thing with
Sensationalist.
Yeah, same
It's
thing
not
with
nuanced.
stand-up comedy.
They read one article instead of 10 and synthesize it across different sources. Okay, just on your last thing, I have one question for you on the way. But you were saying you had a different thing for Cobb's than you did for.
Oh yeah, I have different. Maybe it was the same years ago, but for me, I have different sets for different places. I have a bar set, I have a comedy club set, I have a South set,
Interesting.
I have a California set.
Yeah.
You have to like kind of figure out who your audience is.
So you write these different sets for your different audiences, and then you kind of evolve on those separately in the different areas.
Yeah.
And then you can try and swing them into the other areas to see how they play out. Test it out.
You throw out test jokes.
Yeah,
to see how the crowd will react.
Interesting.
And I do so much improv and riffing in my sets that like I'm also, when I'm riffing and improv, I'm also thinking in the back of my mind, okay, what kind of crowd is this? What do they seem to like? What are they into? How can I grab them?
Yeah, Paco, this has been super fun conversation. Paco, I got.
When do we start recording?
Yeah. Shit! When we didn't click the record button, man.
Oh man! Do it again.
Do it again.
Your mom's coming home soon, right?
Yeah,
We have to
yeah,
wait till next week.
Yeah, she's gonna make us some food.
Yeah.
Mama.
Mama,
just
I'm coming home. Remember that song?
Which
Ozzy.
Ozzy.
Yeah.
Ozzy. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Do you think that we're in a simulation?
Now? Or what is this? Are we going to have sex soon? What is going on? What is that? What do you mean?
Do you think we exist in a simulation?
No.
You think this is base reality?
Yes.
And why do you?
Yeah, I'm too Midwestern to think of a simulation. There's no, I grew up in a small farm town. Like, no. If that was a simulation, get me out of this simulation. I want to be simulated with somewhere cool.
Do you think we're alone in the cosmos?
No.
And what do you think exists outside of Earth?
Me. More of me. Just
More
thousands of me.
Pacos.
Just thousands of me walking around.
You believe in multiverses?
Well, I don't know if you mean a different dimension, a multiverse?
Sure.
Yes, I think so. I think mathematically it could happen.
That's where the Pacos are running around.
All the Pacos.
All the
dude.
Pacos.
Yeah, all the Pacos.
The Paco squirrels.
Yeah, all the Pacos,
squirrels.
the ghost squirrels we call them. They smell like cinnamon. They're really friendly, but they will bite. Yeah.
Last question. What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
Weirdness.
It's the first time we've heard that answer.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah. Inherent weirdness. I like when people are earnest. Earnestness and weirdness.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I'm glad you picked that. That's so good. The nonsense, it really wakes up the brain cells. It wakes up civilization. The weirdness, the earnestness. Yeah.
Right? I mean, if everything was the same, ugh, can you imagine? That's not why we're here, I don't think.
Yeah. The uniqueness, finding the unique truth in the individual, the unique truth in the collective.
Much like your
moving
shirt.
forward. And the grandma's couch, shedding on the grandma's
So
couch.
much hair.
So much hair.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
that Armenian.
You're like a churchilla.
Church.
A churchilla.
Churchilla.
Churchilla. A churchilla. It's a southern church full of hills.
Churchilla.
Churchilla. Come on in, Churchilla.
Churchilla.
Hallelujah.
Paco, you're so fun, man. I'm glad we were able to sit down and talk about you, talk about acting, talk about comedy, and also, get people to pursue that risk, to take that, to go to the fear. If you want to get involved, go and reach out to your local cities, SF.
Civic plays, they have SF casting,
New York casting, LA
casting. I mean, you can also. There's always people that you can put on Craigslist. If you even want to start an improv group, there's tons of improv books you could read. The Improv Almanac of Second City, the Second City's Almanac of Improv. It's called. It's awesome.
Almanac of Improv.
Yeah.
And there's so many places to play these improv games at. You can go to different meetups that do improv games. These are free places for you to go do improv games. Like you said, going and taking an improv class, like again, engineers, designers, ops people in the Bay Area, in New York and LA and all these different cities. Like go and do improv stuff.
Yeah.
Go to the Pacific Ocean, go to nature as well. Where's
the
that
band?
coming
The band is
from? The band is in it.
Doc
look,
Severin's
look,
here.
the band, the band. Look at the people in the audience
Hey, guys.
seats up there. Yeah, thank
guys
you.
are-
Thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Filmed in front of a live studio
Live
audience.
studio audience.
Burbank, California.
Burbank, California.
That's awesome.
Much love, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Paco in the shout. Good stuff. Give us some of your comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Check out Paco's work below and his links as well. Check out his podcast. Check out his show. And much love to you all. Much love to Ron for producing and directing. Go and build the future. Manifest your destiny into the world, everyone. Join us if you want to support us at Patreon. Cryptocurrencies below.
Did you shake Paco's hand?
On the way in, we did. On the way out, we are now. Thank you, Paco.
That's
Greatly
official.
appreciate it. Much love, everyone. We'll see you soon. Peace.